Grain imports have started trickling into Zimbabwe after government lifted a year-old ban on private imports of maize. This as the country faces a chronic shortage of the staple food. Earlier this year, floods and a mid-season drought wiped out just under half of Zimbabwe's maize crop.
After producing a food surplus for the first time in 14 years in 2014, Zimbabwe is again on the hunt for maize imports, and it's not clear whether the traditional suppliers Zambia and South Africa will be able to fill the order. The country needs 700,000 tons of maize, in addition to the 200,000 it has in reserves. But both Zambia and South Africa are under immense pressure from other SADC countries whose crops were affected by the floods and drought.
And at the moment, I think if we have resources, we would be able to source the bulk of the grain within the region. The Food and Nutrition Committee is seized with the matter now. So I can't give more information on that in relationship to where we are going to finally get all the grain that we require.
At current regional prices, the grain required translates to well over 1.5 billion rands. That's a tall order for a government that's spending more than 80% of its 40 billion rand budget on salaries. Local production of supplementary cereals such as sorghum and millet is also down by between 60 and 70%. The looming hunger has forced government to lift its monopoly on grain procurement, allowing the private sector to buy and sell the grain.
We have allowed the withdrawal of the instrument so that they are also able to buy grain and to trade it without us saying we arrest you for not buying the grain at 390, so that in this situation both the private sector as well as the government, we are players. We are going to be concentrating mainly on the rural.
The ministry says the capital Harare, with its population of 2 million, will face the highest deficit, followed by the Masvingo province in southeast Zimbabwe. Once the region's breadbasket, Zimbabwe has faced food insecurity over the last decade that critics blame on often violent invasions of white-owned farms that disrupted food production. Meanwhile, Zimbabwe has said it will receive loans totaling $260 million from Brazil, South Korea and India to boost farm machinery and yields on both small-scale and commercial farms. Made says this time, though, the farmers will have to pay for the equipment. Shingai Nyoka, SABC News, Harare, Zimbabwe.